I'm Whitney Budden, and I am here to represent the Social Charity Club of Grand Rapids.
I'm Nicole Rodimer, and I am representing Grand Rapids Young Professionals.
Spencer Covey. I have been on the Grand Valley Young Alumni Council since the beginning.
Barbara Anderson, representing the Young Nonprofit Professionals Network.
Maxine Gray, representing Blend, also known as Business Leaders Linked to Encourage New Directions.
Perfect. Well, welcome to all of you. Thank you for being here, and I'm going to turn it over to Spencer, who's going to kind of moderate our intimate discussion tonight.
Yes. So I feel like you guys are on the board for Blend, if I'm not mistaken, right? And you're on the board for the Young Nonprofit. and you're with the Grand Valley. Okay, so how familiar are you guys with the other organizations?
Very.
Very.
Not a little bit. I don't know as much about social charity.
Okay.
But I've heard.
Well, let's start there.
About you guys.
Okay. Let's start there. Just, have you ever been to any of our meetings?
The farmers market one.
Okay.
And I'm not a nonprofit, so.
Yeah. Right. Of course.
Well, of course. We need to look for
Is that bad? So maybe you could tell Mercedes and Mindy about the charity club.
Okay, so the Social Charity Club actually was thought up in December of 2010, and we had our first event in May of 2011, so it makes us a year old. And really what it is it's a group of socially conscious individuals who like to give back to the community while enjoying the nightlife downtown. So local venues, bars, restaurants, that kind of stuff. So really in a nutshell, what we do is we hold a monthly event. It's the second Thursday of every month at a different local venue. So some of the venues that we've participated with are the Woods, we've done Pepino's, we've done Rockwell Republics, we've done the Holiday Bar, Reserve. So we do a broad spectrum of different venues every month, or change every month, and then we also have a different beneficiary every month. So it's a different local nonprofit that the money goes to. It's $10 to get in the door. 100% of that goes directly to the nonprofit, so we don't take any of that money. The venue does not take any of that money. It's all staying right here in West Michigan. And with that $10, you get a free drink ticket or complimentary drink ticket and appetizers. And really, you can make whatever you want out of it. If you want to come and network and meet new people and kind of get to know other people in the community, you can definitely do that. If you want to have a girls' night for happy hour, you can do that as well. So we have a broad spectrum of individuals who come and join us every month. It's a lot of fun.
What organizations have you supported thus far? What nonprofits?
Well, 12 different ones. So we've done everything from Mackenzie's Animal Sanctuary to the Kids Food Basket. We've done Safe Haven Ministries, Health Intervention Services.
Children's Food Basket.
The Kids Food Basket, yep. Gilda's Club, last month we did, which was our largest one, was Helen DeVos Children's Hospital, and we raised almost $7,000 for them.
Oh, that's awesome. And these are referrals for future
nonprofits. Yeah, so I actually am the nonprofit liaison, so I take all, am definitely open to suggestions, and we love to hear about new nonprofits. We do vote on them. There's 6 members on our council, so everybody kind of gets a vote, and if your nonprofit's not chosen that month, it definitely goes back into the pool, and we talk about it again the next month. So,
yes. Specific focus areas, or is it you're just looking to get a broad variety of organizations?
Absolutely.
In your area?
And we do, right now we are focusing on people that reach out to us, just because they obviously understand what we're about and get kind of what we're trying to do. And like I said, it is right now for our first year and going into our second year, we're looking for strictly local nonprofits. We raise anywhere from typically $1,500 to $2,000 in that night. So we want to make sure that that's impactful to the nonprofit. So yeah, so please feel free to email us. I have business cards out on the table, and we are always open for suggestions. And come visit us. June 14th is our next event.
So,
and it was, I'm sorry, where was it at again?
It's actually at the JW.
Okay.
On the J deck, weather permitting, otherwise it'll be in 616. And it's benefiting Friends of Grand Rapids Parks.
Awesome.
Yeah, and Mayor Hartwell will be there too, guest hosting. So come one, come all.
So maybe then you guys can share about the Young Nonprofit Leaders Association.
Sure, yeah. Well, I have been a part of the Young Nonprofit YNPN since 2007. We started out as a steering committee here we are part of a larger national group. So we are one chapter of a much larger organization. Our local chapter here, we focus quite a bit on professional development and education. The volunteer thing isn't so much our thing. The happy hour thing isn't so much our thing. We do a lot of that while we're doing educational events. We do a monthly conversation starter that you can kind of set your calendars by the third Thursday. At United Way in the morning, we do breakfast there and bring in somebody usually to kind of lead a topic, but then also do a lot of talk back discussion-wise kind of things around broad-based things, whether that be, developing yourself or developing, your career. We did like a True Colors thing not too long ago. We did some networking was our most recent one, and then we have one coming up next week too. And then also, along with that, we do have quarterly, usually lunches, where we bring in a larger speaker on some kind of relevant topic to young nonprofit folks. We have kind of gained legitimacy through our leadership awards, I would probably say, which we hold once a year in November, where we recognize folks in the nonprofit sector that are really exceeding. They're usually nominated by folks in their field or peers or something, and recognize them and just kind of celebrate their achievements and what they're doing for the local community. And then last year we hosted our first national conference, so everyone from the larger organization all came to Grand Rapids. It was a neat event, especially to be able to show off the city. And then most recently, we also, kind of going off the success of our national conference, we held a mini half-day conference here in April. And then you might also be familiar with some of our more creative endeavors, which would be the nonprofit Smackdown that we had last year, where we ended up crowning Kids Food Basket and the Salvation Army were our big winners of that. We kind of vetted the sectors against one another and kind of saw who could make the most compelling case as to why their sector was the most deserving, so to speak. So that was interesting.
So it's like a non-profit rap battle?
Well, the rapping part actually did come into play until this year.
Oh, is there a rap battle?
Well, yes, actually, kind of.
Rap? Really? You brought that up at our Young Alumni Council.
I know, they're going to have one.
No, we already did, actually.
You already did?
Yeah,
How did it go?
It was called the Rhyme Rumble. We did it this year in connection
How
with
did it
our
go?
conference. It went really well. Really well. We had 12 nonprofits
Heck yeah.
change the words to, well, no, there was United Way did Ice Ice Baby.
Yeah.
We were changing the words. It was.
Maxie, I even tried to get you guys to have a rap battle.
When was this?
Oh yeah, Javon. I did. I talked to Javon. He wouldn't do it either. I'm proud of you guys.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing to see people.
And you guys started in 06, I want to say.
We started about 07.
Yeah.
So does that SmackDown event happen every year?
The Smackdown happened last year in connection with our conference, and then this year we moved to the Rhyme Rumble, which is the singing karaoke style thing.
Big time.
And I am pushing for that to be a yearly event.
Heck yeah, you are.
But,
Was it fun?
We've got an amazing idea for next year that's going to blow that out of the water.
Okay, so
It's so sweet.
Yeah, I think veto.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Do you want to share? There's only 10 of us.
It's such a secret.
Okay.
You got to come out to Beers with us if you want to find that stuff
Oh.
out. Which means you got to
Volunteer. He's gotta come volunteer.
This is called
Totally will.
committee recruitment right here. I'm walking in on a secret.
So
Right.
at an average event then, how many people do you guys have in attendance?
Well, like a conversation started the morning events at the United Way, usually 30 to 40 folks. Our lunch is a little bit bigger. Our last conference that we had about 100 folks there. Kind of varies.
So now is that the only young professional outreach the United Way does right now?
I do not know.
Because I think it is.
No,
I
they
know that they have, I was going to say, they do their
Sorry,
board.
son.
Yeah.
Next Gen.
No, oh, right,
Which
right,
is a
right.
revival of the previous non-professional that they have with
Yeah.
the moms and.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is a good segue. So I know Maxine
Moving on.
and another co-founder, Jaman, which is a Grand Valley alumni. Hope over here though.
Grand Valley as well.
Oh, for the MBA?
No, not
Take
the
it back.
MBA, but the MS.
I take it back. So Maxine has been the driving force behind Blend for quite some time though. True?
Not on my own. It's a team effort.
I'll give her the credit even if she wants to. So maybe you can talk a little bit about Blend. Is anybody not familiar with Blend then? Matt, have you heard of Blend?
No.
Awesome.
Okay.
That's a good
Well, this will be
thing.
good.
Everyone's like, so mad.
Everybody else is on the board for something here.
Right, everybody's already involved.
Yeah, well, not cross-involved though.
Matt's on the alumni
How
council.
about
And he's,
collaboration?
GVSU royalty.
Oh, very good. Very
We're on the
good.
alumni
Royalty.
council together. Royalty, come on.
Right, we're all friends here. That's good.
Well, that's one thing I wanted to throw out to you guys too is like, one, how do you recruit? I guess all of you, and then two, like how do you utilize channels? I mean, one thing as a young alumni, it's so easy to get overwhelmed with everything that's going on. Like you want to be part of this and part of that, and if you don't have a job, you want to network everywhere. How do you use stuff that's already existing and kind of like work together so that you can, just grow knowledge about your groups as well as, benefit the groups that you're working with, or, Grand Valley, or what other, organizations you may be affiliated with, like fraternities, sororities, all that kind of stuff.
That is a great question.
Start off by what Blend is.
Well, actually, it's a
Oh,
good
yeah, sorry.
segue,
Yeah.
actually, because that's why we were founded, actually, was to be a connectivity tool, to be a resource pool, an opportunity pool. Blend was founded in August 2006 by Grand Valley State University graduates. So we have very strong roots at Grand Valley. It was started out of a need to connect in the community. So the graduates, some were from the east side of the state, some from the west side. But they graduated from Grand Valley, had amazing professional opportunities, but found that they entered a community where they could not get involved, where they almost hit a brick wall. They didn't know how to connect. These were ambitious young professionals who said, I don't just want to go to work and come home. So they decided to kind of do a litmus test and see if there were other young professionals who were having the same issue. The unique thing about Blend is that it was started by young professionals of color, which is very important because in Grand Rapids, as you know, the demographics, it is a fairly homogeneous community. And so it was important for other young professionals of color to connect with other young professionals of color, not exclusively, but to be intentional about it, because it's like an elephant in the room, no one talks about it. But to come from a positive perspective in the sense that we want to create an inclusive network that's open, that's accessible, so we don't charge for any of our events, there's no membership fee, everything is open. You literally join our email list and you can come out to any event of interest. So decided to focus on 3 specific strategic initiatives. Social networking is one, that's where we get together and we just connect socially in a very informal environment. So we really try to connect with local bars and organizations, not organizations, but bars and restaurants. We really try to focus on local, which gets hard after a while. But the cool thing about Grand Rapids is, I always say it's like a test market and people will try new ideas here. So there are a lot of new restaurants that are opened up in this area. So we really try to get to those new spots when they do open up. So that's the social arm. Then we have a community outreach arm, which is very specific and focused on engaging in the community that gives back to us. So it's not enough as a young professional to do well in your career and to have a great social life. It's important to reach out, get connected to the heart of the community. What are the needs? What are people suffering with in the heart of the city? So what are the children focused on? What are the families? What do they need? And that's what our community outreach initiative does. And then we have our professional development initiative, and that's focused on connecting us with other successful examples, specifically of color. We do open it up to everyone, but I want to see another executive who looks like me, because that's important in this community. And so we do focus on showcasing the diversity of the community of all kinds, that I can be successful. I can see a reflection of myself in someone else who's not in the majority in this community. We host 3 professional development events a year. And in the past, we have been supported by a number of corporations. A lot of the corporations have supported a lot of our organizations. And through those partnerships, they provide the food and the beverages and the space. So that's how we're able to provide those at no charge. It's also how we've been able to build relationships in the corporate community. And so we have very, very strong relationships, although it's not based on financial support. Those 3 strategic initiatives, the social networking, community outreach, and professional development, are what guide us. We have very strong values, which include collaboration and community and integrity and education and professionalism. And those are the things that really support what we do and really drive those efforts. We've collaborated with a number of organizations, GRYP, YMPN, great organizations, and we feel there's space for everyone, so we're never competing. When we're recruiting, we're not really recruiting, we're building relationships. And if I have a need in an event that YMPN has, I go. And if I want to attend a YMPN event, I'll go. And we all support each other's efforts because we have unique focuses. So we celebrated 5 years last year. We turned 5 years old. That was a really big milestone for us. So we celebrated with a gala at DeVos Place with nearly 600 guests. And it really was a great way to bring people together and to show that a small idea can really grow if there is passion behind it and hard work. And the unique thing about Blend, we always say we have the FUBU motto, it's for us, by us. So instead of young professionals saying, Grand Rapids looks like this, I can't be successful here, I'm going to Chicago. No, we said we're going to stay right here because we have great opportunities, and we're going to build something that we need, that we really feel like we need to survive. And so that's what's really unique, is that we don't have big names, I don't have a big last name or a big bank account, but I have all the passion and drive in the world to make sure that other young professionals who decide to make Grand Rapids their home feel that they can be successful here just like each and every one of us.
You've done a great job. I mean, you guys have gone for it and succeeded. I mean,
well, thank you.
Right?
On behalf of everyone involved.
Well, I mean, other than Nicole, how long have you been involved with nonprofit leaders?
Oh, we started in 2007.
And you were on the committee.
Yep.
So, I mean, all three of you guys are first generation leaders of your organizations.
Yes.
Where
wow.
GRYP has been around, and I think you're the 4th or 5th president, right?
Yep.
Ish. So maybe you can, that's a good segue.
Yeah, we are the eldest in the room, relatively speaking. We were started in 2004, just to kind of, obviously, like Maxine said, to kind of give people an opportunity, young people, to network with each other, to have an opportunity to go somewhere where they didn't have to pay dues. You think about the Econ Club, where the dues are $150 plus. Young professionals have trouble affording that. So we started an organization that was able for young professionals to get together and network with each other, to provide personal and professional development opportunities. We do a lot of different activities. We have a lot going on always, every month. We have our standard unwind that we do, it's the last Thursday of every month. So our unwind is actually tomorrow at the Speakeasy, which is the old Cambridge house.
Monroe?
Yes.
They have the moth martini. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't been there
Super
yet.
cool.
So I'm excited. It's gonna be.
It's not any different than it was at Cambridge House.
No.
No, it's the same.
Just different name.
So what time does this section get over with? I just want to make 7. So we got 5 minutes-ish. Can you talk about some of the things that you guys have put in place for succession planning?
Yes.
We were talking a little bit about the board and different things like that.
Yes, but yeah.
Yeah.
We have the president has 2-year terms. So I will be starting my term in August. So right now I'm kind of in my training period. So I'm working with Amanda, who's the current president right now. As soon as my term starts, like I said, I get 2 years. And then we also have an advisory board as well. So then the president takes over the chair position of the advisory board. So then that's another 2-year commitment after that. So really it's a 4-year commitment. We also have our committee, our board members are not on a kind of a restriction. They can stay with us on the board as long as they want to, but it has to be in year increments. So we try and kind of stop the, okay, well, I'm done. And we try and get it so that when their term comes up, it's, are you going to be staying on? Do you have somebody in mind that's going to be filling this position? We'll do interviews for the positions. If the people are interested in joining the committees, we have ambassadors, an ambassador pool that we kind of pick from. We also interview for those positions as well. The board members will do that themselves. They're able to fill theirs. So we have 11 board members. Then our committees are about 10 to 11 people each committee. So there's a lot of people who are involved to make GRYP run the way it does.
So Whitney is the newest organization. What are some of the hurdles, struggles? What are some of the things that you've seen in the current Grand Rapids scene for starting an organization?
I think really getting the word out there is you can talk about it until you're blue in the face and people don't always get it. It makes sense to you. This is just personally for our organization. We obviously felt that it was a great idea. Otherwise we wouldn't be doing this as our second job. I say it's my 6 to midnight job. So I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think that it was a great idea, but we can explain it, like I said, until we're blue in the face, and people don't get it until you really come to an event and see that it is very low maintenance. Matt, I know you kind of asked, like, how do you kind of balance all of these balls as a new alum? How do you get involved and not kind of be overwhelmed? You can make, from our point of view, you can make whatever you want out of our organization. And people kind of, they always wonder, oh, it's social charity club. What do I have to do to be a part of this club? Well, you really don't have to do anything. You can come to one event, you can come to all of our events, you can do, you can get more involved if you want to, you can just come to the event, that's completely fine. So I think it's really getting the word out there and having people actually come from work. That's another hurdle that's out there. We always thought that it was the hardest part was gonna be getting the venues to commit, but you know, as Maxine said, we live in a community that wants to help us, that they want to help us, and people are extending resources out to us saying, hey, we want to help you, we think this is a good idea. It's getting other people to come to our events and really kind of helping to spread the word. So
I went to some early nonprofit meetings, and you guys kind of had humble beginnings as well. How did you break through that?
Yeah, somewhere we joked that we somehow gained legitimacy at some point. No, it really was, you know, networking with, you know, our board. We were having board meetings at, you know, people's organizations. They were opening their doors to us. And it was just kind of growing our network and that, I mean, yeah, everyone has been very welcoming. Sticking with it? Yeah, sticking with it.
There was no one big break or anything, it was just...
I think as far as an organization goes, I think our leadership words are probably kind of what made us well known in the community and helped break us through to the older generation, if you will, of folks that you know, wanted to support and kind of help bring the young professional folks along the way.
Is that the same thing you've experienced then?
I would say, gosh, big break. We had very humble beginnings. So we started out with the Yahoo email account and a logo literally in 2006, and that's it. We grew one by one. It was word of mouth. It wasn't anything else. I mean, we had articles in the Business Journal. We have had a lot of media coverage, but people are looking for an experience, and if you create an environment that really gives them an experience that they can get nowhere else, then that's your brand. Our brand is very personable. It's all about relationships. It's not about where you work. We don't put company names on our name tags. We don't do a lot of things because it is about the personal relationship first and foremost. So if you're unemployed or if you're a student, you don't feel out of place.
Yeah, and has anybody other than the girls that are with Blend, has anybody else been to a Blend meeting?
Yeah, I think one of the things that's awesome about Blend meetings is like, or any of your guys' it's not meetings, but when you get your events, it's immediately walk in and somebody walks up and, how are you doing?
Yeah.
It's really, really friendly.
Yeah.
It's really intentional, you can tell that, but at the same time, like we have a problem with that with our events. It's something that we struggle with the YMPN, is that we're not very good at walking up immediately and saying hi and greeting people and getting them like acquainted with what's going on, and do you know, you don't know me, and introduce yourself, and you guys do that really well.
So we have 30 seconds left. Can you guys really, really, really quickly go through and say what you think the best, kind of networking strategy is, maybe the worst? Just real quickly, like
best and worst. Or
well, like when people approach you and they're like immediately, where do you work? Maybe that's a case of a bad one or a good one. I don't know. I would say it's a bad one, but just real quick, strategies, good things.
Honestly, I think the best strategy is just to be authentic. I think if your goal is to get a job and you're really trying to make 3 connections that will help you get there, then that's your approach. But understand that people can see right through it like a piece of glass. So if my whole goal is to get a job and I'm not trying to get to know Whitney, I'm not going to get to know her, and I'm going to walk away with her business card, but I'm really not going to make an impression on her. So she's not going to call me back. So just be authentic, know your intentions for networking, but also just be authentic. It's so easy to see through when you're not.
Yeah, no, I agree a lot with that. And I think too, I mean, if you're after something, I mean, obviously ask for it in a polite way, but like tell people that you know, oh, I'm interested in doing this, because I'm going to say, oh yeah, I know somebody that, you know, and I love to connect people and you know, do that kind of thing. So yeah, just be forthright and honest.
Yeah, I think setting your own goals aside and helping other people connect is really a key strategy.
You're good at that today.
Thank you.
Introducing me down around the ring.
You're welcome.
You know, I think, you know, going from personal experience, I think that it's tough when you walk into a room and you feel like everyone knows each other and everyone's talking to each other, and it's not really the case, you know, and everyone's just kind of having conversation and looking for, you know, other people to jump in. So I'd always say, you know, don't be afraid to jump into a conversation. You don't have to have something planned to say. You don't have to have, you know, a pickup line. You can just kind of jump in and just, like Maxine said, just be authentic and be yourself.
My advice, echoing all of these wonderful women, would be to kind of think of the broader audience, or the greater good, if you will, before yourself. I think that's always, I try to live my life in that way. So if I'm trying to help Maxine or Jessica, in some way somebody might come back and help me at some point. So if I can make a connection for Jessica, or if I can help somebody else, or do, you know, make a connection with somebody that might not know somebody else, or help somebody get a job, I think that's going to kind of come back in full circle to you. So just kind of always having that outlook of helping the greater good before you're thinking about yourself is kind of, I don't know, I guess my suggestion.
Yeah, and I guess, I don't know how strict they're going to be, but in closing, if anybody is interested in the Grand Valley Young Alumni Council that went to Grand Valley, that's not already involved, you know, be sure to find me or Mindy or anybody else with one of the black tags. And you know, even if for instance you didn't go to Grand Valley, but you're still interested in, you know, participating, or you know, maybe collaborating or something like that, I'd still welcome you to connect with us. So, see, you no, of course, yes.
Mine is a.
Well, real quickly then.
It was a mistake.
Oh no, you didn't go to Grand Valley?
I did, but I'm not a council member.
Oh, okay.
You're a different council.
Yeah, different.
Was there a question? I'm sorry.
I had a question. I wanted to know, I mean, you mentioned, Whitney, that you guys are always looking for suggestions for nonprofit organizations to have on your monthly events. Mm-hmm. I mean, out of the other three of you, or even if there's anything else you guys need, I think part of this event is we're here, we're young professional, nonprofit, etc. organizations. You told us about you, but what is it if somebody wanted to help you besides just going to the events? Are there things that you specifically need, or you just want people to come to the events, or, you know, if you could ask something of other people, what would that be?
I would say, in a broad way, I would say I'm a strong believer in purpose, and I know my purpose in life, and I know what I'm passionate about, and so that's why I got involved. I'm passionate about young professionals, women, diversity, and inclusion, right? So those are the things that I'm involved in. And so if you know what you're passionate about, even if you don't know your purpose in life, I think you should seek those things out and get involved, because I think that you do need to be passionate about it too. You know, work from 6 p.m. to midnight, and on the weekends and all the other times that we work for these organizations. But I say just be willing to get involved. You know, if you're interested in charity and different, you know, get involved in social charity club. Get involved and kind of just take a risk. You know, I think sometimes in your life you get to a point where you don't want to take a risk, but like you're supposed to live your entire life taking risks. So just say, hey, I want to volunteer for one event and see what it's like. Most of us have committees. We have committees that we just launched this month, which is exciting. And so we invite people to come out. You know, you don't have to join the board right away. You can definitely kind of tiptoe that way. That's what we're leaving you. But you can tiptoe your way that way. Just don't be afraid. Like, just continue to take risks and get involved in something.
So you guys don't have any specific needs other than?
Yes, we have the committees. We have a marketing committee, a professional development committee, a community outreach committee, and a social networking committee. So
it's gotta be tough though too, because you guys probably have like 20 people that say they want to help, and then once it weeks down,
or people who want to help us connect with potential organizations for sponsorship.
Oh, always. Just in general about our mission. Just in general, people have ideas. We get emails and phone calls all the time. Hey, I just saw this person move to town, or hey, this person is an awesome speaker. You should consider hosting them, or this nonprofit needs help, or here's a new bar you all should go to. So we just try to be accessible. We have email accounts for all of our board members and our GR Blend email accounts. And So we encourage people to communicate with us. We're very responsive. We check our emails. I know I check it at least once a day. So we're pretty accessible. We try to be accessible so people can still reach us.
Do you guys have any specific needs?
Yeah, I mean, the whole sponsorship thing definitely comes into play for us too. But then the other thing, I know that we were talking about it at our table, is really trying to be, we've come to a place where we're trying to be intentional about who we reach. And specifically, we were chatting about the fact that we don't have a whole lot of span. Obviously, Grand Rapids has a huge healthcare sector, and we are not reaching the young people in that sector, and we would love to branch out. So like those kinds of niche folks, so if anybody has any thoughts or any connections to those people.
Spectrum's here, fully represented.
We would be, more than happy.
Do either of you have any specific needs?
Yeah, same. Sponsorships, committee, ambassadors, people getting the word out about who we are, what we do, all of the things that, we do. We're not a dating club like most people think we are. So.
Despite the common consensus.
So trying to get the word out about that there are other things besides that we have to offer.
I'll just kind of conclude with following kind of what Maxine said, is just really making those connections. So I had a sheet of paper on our table asking for nonprofit suggestions. We're always looking for people to offer up suggestions. We don't know everything. We think that we do, but we don't. So there's definitely people out there that I, through my minding, can't find out on the internet. So please send us those. And then also just connections with different venues too. It's all about who you know. So.